Hey everybody, how's it going? Got some new, fresh Entropia content for you today. And it even involves some time travel. How, you ask? Well, it turns out, what happened is I was trying to record an episode to give everyone the updates of information that just released today about Monria, and it's sold. You'll never guess for how much paid. But when I was going to do this story, I recorded a whole episode today, said, hey, wait till I tell you about Monria, and then I finished recording the episode and I was like, fuck, I forgot to tell everyone about Monria. So I'm like, shit, I gotta do another episode. So technically, in order to air these episodes when it's relevant, I'm gonna have to switch the order. So there's gonna be a little bit of time travel today. You're going to see tomorrow's episode today, sort of thing. But yeah, so I got the news that, the moon Monria Sold. So I don't know if you guys have heard about Monria. It was a new planet that was added to Entropia Universe quite a few years ago, I believe now. I'm just going to check, make sure I didn't bring any of my lootables. I think in the last video I told McJack that I was going to take everything off, so he doesn't need to try to shoot me down. The other trick I show McJack that I'm not carrying loot is I keep my ship at a very low TT value, like damage, so that one hit can destroy me. Just so he doesn't waste ammo too, like sort of a show of good faith. It's like you want to shoot me down just to make sure that I don't have any loot. You don't have to waste a lot of ammo to do it. Right, where the hell am I? Oh yeah, next down. I don't know, I've been flying in space for years, but I still get turned around very easily. Even before the concussion. Can't blame it on that, as much as I'd like to. Now, a few people have been asking how my concussion symptoms have been, and I think this year, it's actually been a lot better than last year even. Fuck! I had a drink for the other episode and I moved it when I was done recording. Alright, so before any further ado, I guess I should explain where I'm going, why, and then I'll finish up with the Monria, or better, I'm going to be recording 3 episodes today. Yeah, so anyways, what happened was I was thinking, shit, a lot of people have been asking me to stock up my shop on FOMA and Rocktropia with the mankinis and bikinis, which, maybe I should go to FOMA first instead of Rocktropia then. Drop off some mankinis. Yeah, that's what I'm going to have to do. No, sorry, I told some people that I was coming back to Rocktropia first, but I'm pretty sure that's not the best plan because I forgot I got to swing by Calypso. Alright, where the fuck am I? Oh, there it is. I don't know, do you guys ever notice this when you're flying in space? When you go to set the target, like the waypoint, you'll pick exactly where you want to go. But, when, well, let's move this. Like I said, I'll put it right in the middle of the planet. But when I create the waypoint, it's actually off to the side. So usually when I'm flying, I just aim right at the planet. I don't care what that dot says. And do you aim your ship a little low? Or do you aim right at it? Because I notice the waypoint targets are always a little bit lower. I don't know. Try to get that as close. Alright, so yeah, my plan is I got these mankinis and I got these fucking bikinis and the markup on them is just plummeting. So I'm like, shit, I should really take them to my shops and put a few for sale now. I'm not sure if the markup is going to increase or decrease. I heard some rumors that Next Island's getting a lot of complaints already about the mankini, They don't want to see naked men running around anywhere. So we'll see what happens. I'm technically in favor of keeping the mankini, not just because I have the print and selling them, but for other reasons. It's like the whole equality thing. If women can walk around naked in the game, why can't we? Heck, if I was in charge of Mind Arc, I'd add sex to the game. But that's their prerogative. But yeah, it's like, really, this game is for adults. And I'm pretty sure, what is it, that Second Life? They have sex in the game. So what's with Entropia? Are we like being treated like children? Oh, I do have a little bit of a drink left. Yeah, so I figure I'll do that. Swing by the planets, drop off some shit. Maybe I'll put a copy of the mankini print for sale in either Camp Crunk or FOMA. I'll leave that up to the viewers. You guys can swing by the shops if you want a chance at buying one of the first mankini prints. Or you can try going to Next Island and just looting it yourself. Or picking it up on auction isn't a bad idea. You can see some of those fucking bastards keep selling it for so cheap on auction. But yeah, so that's what you could do if you want. You can swing by my shop, pick up the print. And hey, if you're working to support my work, I figured that out too. Like, a lot of cases people want to give me a few ped, but they don't have an easy way to do it. You could just swing by my shop in FOMA, and I'll have the entire basement loaded with TT+1 items that only have 1 pack value. So it's a way to donate 1 ped to the show if you want. You can just go in, buy one of the TT+1 items. And then even that item, you can just trade terminal it if you don't want it. Because I think a lot of cases I'll just use like useless blueprints that I have millions of. They'll place for TT+1 in the basement. Yeah, so if you want some TT+1 blueprints, you know where to find them. It's my donation bin in the basement. Yeah, and then maybe I'll put a few other items. Well, my shop's loaded with varying prices, so you can check those out too if you want to help the show out. And I've already got my first Patreon, and it's a monthly one, so I was like, shit, I'm on a roll. So even if you guys are in a bad situation, you don't have any extra ped, don't worry, I'm already raking it in. Now one of these days, I'm hoping I can get the show to cover my internet. That'd be sick. My fucking internet bill's like $60 a month, and it's shitty internet too. It's like good for what it used to be before fiber optic came out. But I don't have fiber optic lines, even though the fucking Google headquarters is like a block away from my house. I'm hoping maybe I can just tap into Google's Wi-Fi one day. I bet you they should have really good Wi-Fi. Now is the weird thing, like the city that I live in, it's near Toronto, but like an hour away. And my city is actually the last stop on the train, like mass transit system. And then what do you know, Google bought the fucking entire block where the last station is on that track, and they just souped the shit out of it. It's like a whole block they bought, and they're building a giant Google city. My city used to be like, what is it, German immigrants. We had a lot of German factories here that were making like leather and furniture and stuff. That was like the olden days. So now our city became like the hub of migration. We have more people from like anywhere else in the world all in one pooled location. So I think that diversity is maybe what brought Google here. And we have the top of the line universities in all of Canada. So we're known as like the, what is it, that tech hub in the States called? Tech Valley or something, Silicon Valley. We're like Silicon Valley North. And it's like my house is actually on the street of it, so it's kind of interesting. I got to see it go from like the olden days stuff to, well, not that olden days, like horse and buggy. I'm not that old, but back in my day, we used to buy drugs from gangs. No, not that old, but no, it was pretty wild getting to see the changes of how a city goes from like a hardcore factory type driven to all the factories leaving to Mexico to fucking Google coming in, buying up all the old factories and turning them into high-tech jobs. So some people fight the change, but I kind of think it was inevitable. I understand both sides to it. It sucks when you used to work in a factory and you lost your job. Now you gotta learn to code. I better not say that. I heard that saying is getting people's channels removed. I kind of grasp why, but not exactly. Now that's one of the things that I'm planning on doing for my vlogging career, is when I start getting vlogs uploaded to YouTube, I'm gonna go show you guys this new Google city. See the fucking shit they're building? It's amazing. Yeah, my city used to be known as the Nazi capital of Canada because we were the German city. Our city was named New Berlin until we had a whole group of like leftists, like history revisionists. They even changed our city name and tried to pretend like we weren't all Germans. Even migrated tons of people in to replace us. But there's still some Germans here. Now you won't hear many people speaking German at our Oktoberfest. It's mainly people from China. No, there's like a little secret about our city. There's tons of people from China come here. And the way Trudeau, or I guess, I don't know if they do it intentionally, but we got our universities. And our city didn't have many condos. But they're like, hey, let's open the universities up to tons of Chinese students. Like we're talking like hundreds of thousands maybe even. So what they did is all these extreme, like, you know that movie Crazy Rich Asians? Well, fucking all these crazy rich Asians came to our city. And then our city just started building fucking huge condos and just loading them with crazy rich Asian students all around the universities. And they call it like the fastest growing city in all of Canada. And it's like all being built by China's investors. It's kind of fucked up when you think about it, right? It's like a lot of places you could go in my city now around the universities, everything is Chinese. Like there's no English writing anywhere. All the stores are Chinese. Everyone inside only speaks Chinese. So it's like you can't even talk to people that run stores. It's kind of weird in a way, but if like you can speak Chinese, then you're set. I'm almost thinking of learning Chinese because of it. What I'll probably do is get that Google headphone thing, so at least I can understand when people are talking. That'd be helpful. No, I'll do some vlogs to show all that too. I don't know, with this whole situation with China recently, it might get a little bit heated trying to vlog areas, so I'll try to be cool about it. Like, I love Chinese people in the whole situation, so made it a little awkward, but I don't know, being really big helps. Not many people really complain to me, at least to my face. Alright, so what am I gonna do? Oh yeah, before we land on Calypso, let's see, what a time are we? Oh, we're still early on in the show. Seems like it's a long show because I'm recording two back to back. No, I happen to be on, what is it called? One of the groups on Facebook. And it was telling me stuff, news about Entropia. Oh yeah, it was the Monria page. Like, I used to own shops on Monria, so I've always been following the moon. And for anyone who hasn't been following it too much, it was a moon that was added to the Entropia universe. Let's see if I can bring up all the information about it. Rather than just guessing, I can look it up while I do the show. Yeah, so the whole theme of Monria is like this horror movie. Let's see. It's kind of annoying. I can't find the Wikipedia because so many other regular wiki entries are coming up. But what I'll do is I'll open up their Facebook page. Hopefully that doesn't crash my stream. Alright. So hopefully I don't crash the ship while I'm showing you guys this. That's just a risk I'm willing to take. Alright, so you can see here that this is the page for Monria. It's this horror themed planet. They bought it a few years ago. I think it had a number of investors. And I used to own a whole bunch of shops. I was buying and reselling shops there. I really should have kept doing that because I was fucking raking in the ped doing that. I think I stopped because after I sold the last 3 shops there, I couldn't buy any new ones. Maybe that's what it was. So anyways, today I got the report, and this was the news that came up. and it said that an Irish company has purchased the virtual moon Entropia universe, and it's Monria. So I opened up that article, and I was just thinking, if I open it, audio might start. So I'm going to have to put headphones on to make sure. Now, I've already recorded one show this year. It was my best show yet, and I fucking had an audio problem. So that when I went to upload it after, fuck, my headphones are gone. Son of a bitch! No, it's weird because I'm sitting at my computer desk and I keep everything for the show here. Never at any point was I like, I should take my headphones and remove them from where I do the show. That I can recall anyway. Well, it looks like that's a chance I'm gonna have to take. Hopefully this fucking link doesn't have audio. What I'll do is I'll move it off the screen for now and open the link and pray to God. Now I won't open the link for long. That's what I'll do. Alright, so I'll just show it to you quick. It says an Irish company bought Monria and they paid $90,433.8, and I think that works out to approximately 1 million ped. I think that's what it would be, roughly, off by 600,000 or no, something like that. Anyways, no, I think it's approximately 1 million ped, and it's an Irish company. He's a technology leader with over 20 years of experience, and Monria is going to be a long-term acquisition. So if anyone wants to check out the link for that, I'm going to try to remember to add it to the link description below, but I probably won't, so you'll just have to Google it. And he started his interest in video games with the Commodore VIC-20, so shit, he's older than me. I think that's old before my time. No, it's funny. One day I was looking at a video game museum, which was showing relics of the past. I was like, holy shit, let's see what these ancient video games are, like antiques in a museum. So I looked, I'm like, oh fuck, it's not what I wanted to see. It was my toys, and I was like, no! It's like, how old does that make you feel when you see your toys from when your childhood are now in a museum for people to look at as like relics from the past? It's like, oh shit. Nah, my only explanation to that, when I was a kid, we always were like kind of on the POV side. Like we lived in the poor neighborhoods and always got used toys. So a lot of times when I got video game systems, I wasn't getting the newest console, but I was getting like the older generation consoles. I swear. I'm not that old. Back in my day. No, so that's pretty exciting news, guys. What do you think about Monria selling? I noticed, like, by the amount of traffic that they had on their Facebook page, it was fucking hurting. And for me, like, opinion-wise, what I think about... What the fuck, man? It's like, I don't like that little message, how it's like, hey, do you want to stream? It's like, hey, I'm already streaming. Now, it's not because they want me to live stream, but sometimes I like to not live stream. It's nice, I figured out where the fucking pause button is, so I don't have to fuck up and do editing and shit. I can just pause when someone knocks or the phone rings. Yeah, anyway, so, yeah, my opinion on Monria is I liked the planet so much, or the moon, that I was buying up a lot of shit. I wish I would have bought more. Like when Monria first opened, they had this lobby that you could walk into, and you know what was in the lobby? Fucking shitloads of apartment deeds. You could just go in there and buy apartments. It was like what other situation has that ever happened in Entropia? Where you could walk into apartment buildings and in the lobby they had the fucking deeds and you could just buy an apartment, go up and move in. That was fucking amazing. And it was weird too because the deeds were so cheap. Everyone's like, oh, who the hell wants to buy these? There's hundreds of them, or even thousands, I forget how many. So I didn't even buy any. Fuck, I was like, shit, I should have. And then a couple months or maybe even a year went by. And I'm like, man, I want to buy some shit on Monria now because it's not that bad of a moon. Like, there's some decent shit going on. So I ended up buying shops and reselling the shops, and you've heard the history of that before. But I never got into buying the actual apartments. And then eventually at some point, the planet or moon realized that those apartments had a high value and were undercutting themselves by putting all of them for sale at once. So I think they took them away and started divvying them out smaller, or even stopped altogether, and now they just give them as prizes. I don't know. So I don't know what happened with all the different apartment deeds. If anyone can post that in Monria, did they actually sell all the apartments? Or did the moon keep a lot of the deeds and not sell them all? I wish I would have bought a whole bunch. Fuck. Yeah, and then now Monria increased the value of those deeds by making a program that if you have one, I think you get free access to a mothership or something good about that deed. Maybe it gets you a shirt, which gets you free access to a mothership. But anyways, that mothership is doing runs from different places in space, so it's nice to have that as an advantage. It's the one thing I love about being friends with Yoshi. She's always like, hey, if you need mothership stuff, talk to her. It's like, man, that'd be so cool to have access to a mothership. Yeah, but anyway, so I guess I'll go on with Monria about the stuff I liked and didn't like. So that was a lot of the stuff I liked. And then they also have this daily fucking crafting mission. And if anyone hasn't tried the crafting mission in there, your fucking mind is gonna be blown. Like, I don't know, when I first heard, like, oh, daily crafting mission, why the hell would you want to do a mission every day? Most missions in Entropia suck balls. Not in a good way. So I was like, why the fuck would you want to do a mission twice, let alone fucking just once? So I'm like, oh, let's go try this Monria crafting mission, because I'm into crafting, so I'm like, hey, it'd be kind of neat to see what it's about. So I got to Monria and I do some little crafting mission where it's like part of the arrival missions. And then they want you to craft something on Monria and you win a prize. So I did that one. And there's a new one and it's called the daily crafting mission as you go. Like if you do 500 of this part, they'll give you a reward and you have to see this other guy for the reward who's standing there in a black trench coat. Looks like the Matrix kind of guy. And he has like a blue symbol or a yellow symbol above his head. If you complete 500 crafts, you can go and get the reward from him. So I'm like, okay. So I tried crafting the part, and it was fucking expensive to craft. So I'm like, shit, man, I don't want to do this 500 times, or 500 successes. But then I found out that that reward is actually eligible for any part. So I'm like, oh shit, I'll just take like my explosive projectile print number 1, that's super cheap to use, get it successful 500 times, go collect the reward. So lo and behold, I fucking finish it, go collect the reward. It was fucking a huge amount of skills. Like I got the reward and it was like, here, have some skills. It's like level. I was like, what the fuck? Normally when you're crafting, levels are very rare to go up. I was surprised to see a whole bunch of levels go up at once. So I don't know how the reward exactly is working for the daily crafting mission on Monria, but it's fucking insane how much skills they give you. Like now when I get like disciples and like, hey, I want to finish quick, how can I load up on skills quick for cheap? I'm like, one way I used to tell them was to go onto Yoshi's ship or different motherships and start, repair work. I'll probably do a whole episode on repair work. Maybe when I get a chance to talk to Yoshi. Yeah, that would be a sick episode. But anyways, so yeah, that's how you can do it. Oh, man. No, I'm trying to get back on my train of thought. There was somewhere I was going with that. Oh yeah, the Monria crafting. Sorry guys, I've been like fucking hitting the vape way too much today. I think I piled back like fucking 4 bowls already this morning. It's only 8 a.m. Oh, don't even have any more cut up. Alright, the only choice I got is to do a little drip. I don't want to cut up some more before the end of the show. Yeah, so other than repairing on the mothership, now I send my disciples to Monria and finish the daily crafting mission. The fucked up thing is, if you got some crafting that you want to do, and you want to get good prints, excuse me, Monria is one of the worst places you could go, because for some reason they didn't make many planet-specific prints. So if you're hunting Calypso prints, then you'll go to Monria, because that's where you'll get a lot of Calypso ones. Maybe that's changed. If someone wants to post in the comments, did Monria make a whole bunch of planet or moon themed prints? But it's funny, when it comes to TT value, like if you're not hunting prints, I've had some of my best like globals from crafting on Monria. I don't know if that's like a coincidence. Same thing too, usually when I first arrive on the moon, one of the first crafting runs, boom, I'll hit a global. Then the rest of the fucking week, I won't hit any globals. Or years. Yeah, so did I cover everything I liked and disliked? Oh yeah, the thing in Cave 3. Sweating community on Monria kicked ass. Because a lot of people wanted to buy sweat so that they could craft on Monria. So you actually had a decent amount of sales for sweat at a higher markup. So I was looking for a good place to collect sweat, and I happened to stumble across Cave 3. And Cave 3 had a whole bunch of Uber sweaters. Not a whole bunch, maybe like 5. 5 to 10, depending what day you logged in and time. And they were really good at sweating. And not only were they collecting sweat fast, but the fucking mob was globaling all the time. So it's like they were collecting sweat, swunting it, hunting it, and globaling it like maybe 1 every 50 mobs. I was like, holy shit, that's like way better ratio than sweating and killing on most planets. Like usually you're swunting creatures like those Cyclops that we see in previous episodes, and they were saying no, it's very rare, they almost never global. The other place I'll be sweating and globaling is on Calypso the Boring Ass, or Boreas. Yeah, there's some teams there that hunt and sweat, and the global ratio is good there too, about once every 200. So it's like, maybe not even 200, I should say once every 100. That's a little excessive. But yeah, what is it, those curbs? Yeah, curbos or whatever they're called. Yeah, when people hunt and sweat those at Boring Ass, you definitely get some globals. That's where I used to hunt and sweat with Shire a lot, and the Jaguar Spirit Guild. If anyone knows the Jaguar Spirit Guild members, yeah, ask them if they're doing sweating still. I miss them. Like, I used to hang out with Shire a lot, but she hasn't been in the game for years. I think she was having kids. That probably was contributed to her lack of time for the game. Now don't worry guys, I won't be leaving the game to have kids anytime soon. No, last episode I was kind of bitching about not having kids, and then I was thinking I really shouldn't bitch too much about that, because most of the time I'm actually very grateful not to have kids. It's like every time I babysit, I'm like, oh thank God I can give these kids back. One day was enough. Now I've got, what is it, young nieces and nephews, and then like that's almost more than enough for me. Like I can barely keep up buying them presents. Now I wonder what other shit I was gonna say about Monria, the good sweating community. Hold the fucking shop designs. I don't know if you guys have heard the shop episode. The shops that they designed on Monria, like when you rank shops, what's your favorite one to own as a shop owner? And I've owned like tons of different shops. Like Monria is not only the top shop, but I'd say it's like fucking double the next best. It's like the way they design those shops. Oh. Now I couldn't believe that they weren't more expensive. The only thing I was thinking was because I was buying at a low time. There was a crash when not many people liked Monria, so it was like a ghost town. And even I was saying before, like on the Facebook page, it's very much like a ghost town. That guy that just bought Monria, he was pretty much buying it at an all-time low. I don't know, do you think he overpaid? Would you pay $1 million ped to get Monria? It's like if you wanted to buy like a land island, like one of the other ones on Calypso, those are around 100,000 ped. So in a way, he got a whole moon for the price of 10 land areas. Now that's a pretty vague statement because land areas can range in price. I've seen them as cheap as 75,000 on auction, which really sickens me because there's been times that I've had 75,000 ped. Looking back, I'm like, fuck, I wish I would have bought a land area. Now, how did I get 75,000 ped? That was when I sold all my Calypso land deeds. And at one point, my collection was over 30 deeds, I think. And I also sold a whole bunch of shops at the same time. So it was like my big cash in, where I tried to sell everything I had. You ever do that in Entropia? Just for the fun of it, be like, hey, I'm going to sell every single thing I have in the whole game and total up all the ped. And then go on another buying spree of buying different stuff. Or even the same stuff again, cheaper. Now sometimes I'm bad with hoarding, like I don't want to get rid of all the old electronics that I bought. I'll have like a obsolete media player. Can't use it anymore, but fucking used to, what did I spend, like 300 bucks on it? So I'm like, shit, I don't want to throw this technology in the trash because I paid so much for it. Even though you can't use it anymore, so really you should get rid of it. It's like those people that save typewriters. They wanted to be able to type on a piece of paper manually, just in case the power went out. Or an EMP took out all the electronics. Like, thank God I have my typewriter. Can still send someone a message via pigeon. Tweet, tweet. Now, it's kind of exciting news to hear that Monria sold, though, because I like to hear when people are investing in Entropia. Like, people are like, oh, I don't like those investors. Be like, fuck, man, they're investing in Entropia. What more do you want? It's like if they're investing to shut it down, that'd be the only thing I'd be leery of. Like, there's been a lot of times Entropia had investors lined up and the deals fell through, so we'll see what really happens with this. Wasn't there some deal, like you could ask McCormick or check out his work. He's fucking talked a lot about Chinese investors that were lined up with Entropia, but the one guy died. It's like, oh, it's like too bad that didn't go through. Different casinos were going to get involved. But maybe that was good that it didn't go through, because I always wonder, like, ever notice Entropia is like really on the borderline of what's legal? It's like if you started pushing casinos into it, I know my province would shut it down. Like, the way my province is set up in Ontario and Canada, you're not allowed to gamble outside of the province because they want all the gambling revenue. So I can't deposit into PokerStars and different websites and stuff, anything to do with gambling, other than the provincial ones. And the explanation they give is that any game that's offered somewhere else, they offer. So there's no reason for you to give your revenue to someone else, other than them. Can you imagine him running a company like that where you could just control the public and still not profit? It's like, I kind of wish one day I could become a politician and run the government just to see if I could, like, make trillions of dollars profit. I'm pretty sure it's possible. Like, the amount of fucking crazy rules they have to profit. It's like, if any other company had those kind of rules, they'd be raking it in. It's like, sorry, sir, you're not allowed to shop at other competitors. You're only allowed to shop at my store. And I'm still not going to profit. Like, well, the joke is only the government could sell weed and lose money. Which technically I don't think is a very true joke, because almost all the weed dealers I knew were always broke, because when they sold weed they were hooked on it and they could always smoke their profits. And all the time they spent trying to profit, they could have just been at another job making money and not be hooked on weed. It's like, go figure, eh? The good intentions paving the way to hell. Now, if you didn't see it, I was going to say last episode, but I guess it'll be tomorrow's episode, as I explained some of the stuff that I did when I was leaving Next Island. I put some of my stuff on auction, so you'll hear about that tomorrow. Now, if someone wants to time travel and help, they could go and buy the stuff that I put on Next Island auction, and then I'll add it to the video. Nah, I tried a little bit of luck and my crafting, so I'll give you guys a glimpse into tomorrow's episode. As tomorrow's episode, I'll be crafting some of the bikinis, and I won't give it away if I got a global or not. And yeah, I'm just bringing the mankinis with me. I'm wearing one, but until I reach 1,000 subs, you guys don't get to see it. Because I'll be wearing other clothes on top of it until I get 1,000 subs. Then there'll be a naked 1,000 sub dance party at my booth. I better not keep saying this or all the girls from Entropia are going to show up. I used to think there was no girls in Entropia before, like, YouTubers and stuff came out. I was like, oh, it's all guys pretending to be girls. But then YouTube came out, I was like, holy shit, it's like there actually is girls playing this game. Now, that's a weird thing about the sweat community. I notice it's a lot of women usually sweat. I don't know what that is. Like, sometimes I go into sweat communities and there'd be a sweat circle of like all like 5 or 6 chicks, and they're all like trying on different lingerie and stuff. I'm like, this is like a fuck sweat circle. But hey, could be worse. We could be looking at mankinis. Not that I'll have anything to do with that. There's lots of other people that have mankini prints now, so people can't blame me. Unless all those people watched my YouTube channel and found out how to get the mankini print. But I highly doubt that. Alright, so yeah, my plan is I'm going to land on the FOMA shop once I arrive. I'll set up maybe half of my mankinis there, and then the other half at Camp Crunk. And I'll save 1 mankini and 1 bikini for Rocktropia, which I'll bring to the shop owners there and see if they want to pick one or the other. Yeah, so that's all the news that I had for Entropia. And for the date of that story, it said it was July 4th of 2020. So I believe that's today, isn't it? Yeah, Saturday. Ooh, is Fight Island UFC tonight? Or maybe that's next weekend. I've been trying to get back into watching sports and UFC, but after taking such a long break from it, I kind of like not watching sports just because it seems like it opens up a little bit more free time for me. Like you've noticed, probably like looking at my archive, I didn't have a whole lot of consistency with releasing videos, but now that I've cut sports out of my life, it seems like, man, I'm starting to get more time to create. I mean, really, when you think about it in life, should you just go around consuming stuff or creating stuff? I'm actually starting to lack on the consuming stuff. I feel bad because I used to watch everyone's content all the time. Now it's like I don't have enough time to watch videos because I'm always making them. It reminds me when I got into doing community radio. I used to always listen to community radio until I started doing it. Then I didn't have time to listen to it anymore. I guess that's the one danger of changing your hobbies into your profession. Yeah, what was the things I didn't like about Monria? Oh yeah, one of the things I didn't like was they used to have a a fee to use the teleporter. And the reason I didn't like it, not because it was a teleporter fee, but because there was no way around it. It's like you had to pay it or not go. It's like if there was a way to fly there instead, I'd be like, okay, then it's not so bad because you have the flying option. But eventually the owners of the moon petitioned against them, and then they removed that teleporter fee. So that's what I was thinking. We should really try Never Die's teleport token system. If it's made, those tokens are made from crafting sweat and other materials, and it spikes the sweat price. So all the beginner players, we get a whole bunch more noobs that are happy. Even a more stable economy. Because once you have a whole bunch of noobs with money, they start making crazy purchases. And don't you love those crazy purchases when you're placing items for sale on auction? Right? So yeah, try out the Never Die teleport token system. Welcome him back to the game. Maybe that'll help get him and all his Never Die wallet situation sorted out with the extra income coming in from the tokens. Like, he's been a pretty decent president. Like, when you give Never Die a rating, how does everyone rate him? Like, I know in real life, most presidents, they don't really rate very high, right? Like, they have decent ratings before winning the election, and then they usually tank as they go. So I think it was kind of inevitable that Never Die would have some sort of tanking phase, but I think it's going to redeem, where he bounces back, and he's like our best president ever, our only president. I'm not just saying that to try to get invited to more teams from Never Die. Can't believe I said no to the team for Never Die and they had an all-time high. Remember, kids, never do what I do. When you're saying no to Never Die, it's a mistake. No, I'm really hoping that Never Die's doing better, or somewhat fucking recovering from the whole family loss and stuff. I'm pretty sure I was able to confirm that his wife really did die. That sucks. I know a lot of people have been going through different losses now with the whole situation in the world. It's like I had 2 or 3 good friends die in the past year. I can just imagine what losing a wife would be like. Or can imagine. No, so Monria, praying for their success as well. Hopefully this will help generate some new interest into Entropia. What did it say? It's an Irish company? So maybe we'll get a boost of Irish players. I don't know who this guy is. I'll try looking him up on Wikipedia and see if I can find out more information. I don't know what his plans are. I'm hoping that he makes some more vehicle prints specific for Monria. Then you'll see me crafting on Monria again. or even a whole section of clothing for Monria. I was thinking because it's such a horror-themed planet, it would have been sick if they had a whole bunch of horror-themed clothing. Maybe there is a little bit, and I just didn't loot them. Yeah, if anyone's managed to loot clothing prints on Monria, can you put it in the chat? I know there is some clothing exclusive, because they had those Monria shirts. But I'm pretty sure they said those were only for new colonists, so you couldn't craft them. And if anyone's wondering how long it takes to fly from Next Island all the way to Calypso, it's pretty much across the entire Entropia universe in the fucking slowest ship imaginable. Saying I have 19 AU left to go. Which I'm pretty sure I'm not going to make it by the time of the end of this video. So sorry there hasn't been much action. I was hoping McJack would at least chase us so we could have some pirate content. Maybe I could put it in the chat. Could any pirates please attack doing a live stream? Like some action. Now maybe I'll be flying through fields of aliens. I didn't even check. Yeah, sorry if today's stream is a little bit late, but I had to record 2 in a row. Can you believe I recorded an entire episode with the intention of talking about Monria, got the link ready and everything, and then got so sidetracked that I didn't even discuss it? I blame the vaporizer. I swear it had nothing to do with it. Now I'm wondering what other acquisitions are going to be coming to Entropia. I bet you this moon acquisition had something to do with about the general increase in players. I don't know if it's a rumor or if it's actually true, but I heard there has been an increase in players. And I've always been very skeptical of the increase in players in Entropia, because I'm pretty sure there's some things that have gone on to rig the market to make it seem like there's more players than there actually is. One of those things is those sweat circles that pay inflated prices for new players. Because in essence, you're creating the option of saying, hey, create a new account so that you can get sweat, sell it at a higher price, or even use that character that has low stats to buy and resell sweat. Like buy up a whole ton of sweat and then resell it at a higher price to those resellers. Or to those inflators. So then in essence, you're creating an industry where it incentivizes people to create new accounts so that they can resell sweat higher. But really there's so many other ways in Entropia to make money, and that's like such a slow and obsolete way to do it. That's the one thing that makes me wonder, why would you be doing it unless you're farming it, like millions of accounts doing it. I hope that's not what's happening. Yeah, so what do you guys think? Are people creating a lot of fake accounts to farm sweat? I'm pretty sure if Entropia knew that that was a problem, they wouldn't even fight it so bad just because it looks better on the books to have a whole bunch of new players coming in. But maybe this latest boom with the whole world situation of new players is actually legit players, where they're not just fake accounts. Excuse me. I don't know, some people are tempted to create fake accounts to collect sweat, but I would say don't even bother doing that. Not only because it's against the terms of service, but also because you'll be able to meet other players doing sweating anyways, and they'll help you collect sweat. And it's kind of annoying to operate 2 accounts, I would imagine. I don't even think my computer could handle it resource-wise. Definitely not while streaming. Not that I know. Now the closest I came to 2 accounts was when my brother started playing the game, because he was really into Final Fantasy, the game, the online one, for Sony I think. Anyway, so he played Entropia for like maybe 6 months or a year, but then he didn't really want to play anymore, and he asked if I wanted his account. But his items and everything were so shitty, I was like, fuck, I'm never going to even bother using this account. And I know that it's against the terms of service to have two, so I'm like, nah, just let the account expire. I kind of wish he kept playing the game. It was kind of neat having someone you knew that played, because then you could trust them more, like giving them items and stuff. Like, I know where you sleep. How about you guys? Do you usually play Entropia with anyone you know in real life, or is it always just people that you've met online? For me, I don't think I have a single player that I know in real life that plays. My friend Dennis, I got him into mining in Entropia. I think he had one global and he started to get into it, and then he lost all of his profits and he sort of got out of it. I'm pretty sure he like deposited once again, lost everything. I tried to tell him, it's like, man, you shouldn't just play Entropia to chase globals. It's like, really, if you're chasing globals, it's like you're almost guaranteed to lose 99% of the time. So most people just quit then. So you really got to encourage new players to try to find ways of playing Entropia that they still have fun when they're not chasing globals. Like, I like the party themes. Like, what is it? That fucking other game, Second Life? How they have like a lot of parties, conventions. There's a little bit of that. Like, I found some good New Year's and parties in Entropia. Like that island by Atlantis. They used to have like fucking boat races around the island and huge parties with giveaways on New Year's. So that's kind of what I wish Entropia would phase in more event parties. And one way that the old role-playing game I used to play before Entropia was called Cybertown. And they had a lot of Star Trek players, and it was the same deal as Entropia, except you couldn't cash out, but you could cash in. And they had a lot of Star Trek themed stuff, like a lot of the items were all Star Trek items. And I don't know if they set up some official theme, like with that, with Star Trek, they got the licensing. I think they might have, because what they also did was they would hold virtual Star Trek conventions. So they would have, say, like William Shatner, or Ethan Phillips, or whoever, Spock, when he was alive. Rest in peace. What is it? No, yeah, so they would hold virtual Star Trek conventions. They'd open up, like, you know how Monria has that, like, or not Monria, where I'm flying now, FOMA, has that giant stadium? Well, they have, like, this giant stadium in Cybertown, and they'd be like, this is the time and place you can come and talk to this celebrity. And they had like a line where you could queue up and talk to him. So I was like, holy shit, that was wild. Like, they had virtual celebrities, like actual celebrities, using an avatar that was created just for that event. And it had like an official symbol saying this is actually the celebrity they were claiming to be. And then, yeah, they had a whole convention. I was thinking, man, imagine Entropia could do that. Work out either bands or celebrities or some sort of events, where everyone in Entropia would get a message saying, there's a concert or a convention, if you come, you can meet this celebrity, and then you get a whole bunch of new players that are joining the game just so they can go to the convention. And then they're not even chasing globals. You got a whole group of players then, or have like this social aspect where they like being part of Entropia for the actual MMO of it. Many players that you can interact with, not just chasing globals. Now, I've noticed too, I shouldn't say that all YouTubers and Twitchers are chasing globals. There's some really good tutorial ones. Oh yeah, Serial Overdrive did the tutorial on the deeds. Man, was that a good one. If anyone hasn't checked out that video, like, I've been buying and selling deeds for quite a while, so I was kind of hoping someone would talk about them. The whole new deed system. I'll show you guys some of the deeds that I collect right now. I did a whole bunch of fuck-ups recently, so I'll share some of that adventure. Now, I got into the Entropia Exchange, and originally I bought just a small amount of the Crystal Palace deeds to test how this system would work out. And luckily I was able to buy some before they sold out. And as you can see, the Crystal Palace Space Station 1 sold out quick. then some more became available on the private market and they went up in value. So I was like, shit, I'm gonna buy a whole bunch of the ancient Greece ones this time, because for some reason I thought that ancient Greece would sell out, but I didn't really clue in as they put a whole shitload of deeds for sale, like even more than the Crystal Palace station. You can see by the total value available, and not many people bought them. So I'm hoping, guys, if you want to help my videos out, buy the ancient Greece shares so we can get them all sold out and they go up in value so I can resell them all. That was my original plan, is I was just going to buy these deeds and then resell them once they went up in price. I was hoping at minimum they would go up by 1 or 2 ped. And then lo and behold, not only did they not go up by 1 or 2 ped, but they didn't sell out. So now I'm fucked. I'm stuck with all my investments, like, I don't know, was that 3,000 ped worth of ancient Greece stocks? So it's not the end of the world. I am still collecting revenue. You can see I've like collected 20 ped off my shares of ancient Greece already. I don't think I've spent any of it yet. But my Crystal Palace station ones have been pretty slow too, but you can see there's way less of them. Now I don't like to knock on deeds usually, because I've normally had really good luck with deeds. I can't remember if in my previous Entropia videos I was telling the story about deeds, but maybe I'll share that for another episode, because we're already pushing the hour mark. Alright, so tomorrow's episode, what I'll be doing, I guess I'll be landing on Calypso first. I got a bunch of stuff that I won on auction that I'm going to pick up. Then from there, I'm going to go to my shop on FOMA, and I'll restock it with everything that I got. And then after FOMA, then I have to fly out to Rocktropia, and then I'll restock all my shops there. And hopefully we'll get a episode set up with Raven Jade. That'd be sick. And I hope I'm not saying her name in reverse again. It's like, I don't know what's with her name. I can't remember it. Well, I can remember it, I just can't remember the order of it. It's like, I'm wondering if that's her name in real life, or just her, hopefully her channel name. Yeah. Yeah, and hopefully I don't crash while I'm summarizing the end of this video. Oh yeah, big thanks to all my subscribers. I was just checking the subscribe count. I'm up to 593. Yeah, that's pretty fucking sick, because my channel's been taking, I don't know, close to a decade to reach 1,000, so I've been building steam lately. Yeah, and I really appreciate everyone who's been sharing and liking my videos and putting comments. Yeah, it's Raven Jade. I'm gonna maybe try saying her name 1,000,000 times so that I don't fucking screw it up, or I'll try watching her videos. I'm way behind in catching up on everyone's Entropia videos. Who is it? Can't remember his name either. God sakes. Serial Overdrive. Serial Overdrive has some new videos and I was promising to watch them and comment, and then I haven't gotten around to watching them yet because I've been making so many videos. Yeah, and a big shout out to my newest subscriber, RoSkyline77. Yeah, thanks everyone. Maybe I'll try to do more new subscriber shout outs. I don't think I was doing them before because it was only occurring once a month. If that. Now my other subscriber counts used to fluctuate so bad that I'd go up 2 and down 10. So hopefully once we reach the 600 mark I can maintain it for at least a couple days. Oh yeah, another big shout out to Zarek Tron. He says he's my 590th follower. Yeah! It's like, thanks Zarek. I love Tron. Yeah, and if you like Tron, you might have heard of Tommy Tellerico and the Television Amico. Maybe getting some Tron games for it. So I'm going to be doing a video about the Amico soon too. There's things that I like and dislike about that. So I'll try not to be too harsh on it because Tommy's one of my favorite video game personalities. He's like the coolest guy ever. Alright, yeah, and I'll summarize the video with saying, if we happen to get aphids if the ants are carrying aphids, and the aphids have collected some honeydew that they got out of your pot plants, those fucking aphids, they take that and throw it in your vaporizer and it tastes good, give the video a dislike. Even though I'm tempted to try that, because honeydew collected from cannabis actually might be great. That's probably the only time that the end quote of the video might actually be good to vaporize. But don't quote me on that, because if ants are eating it, maybe it's not good for vaporizing. Yeah, anyways, if you can check out the links below, I got the Patreon. You can help the growing army of patrons that I have. So far I have one, and it's growing faster and faster every day. And yeah, if you can help all the other subscribe stuff, got different links where you can order products online and get cash back. And I just did one yesterday, and there was one thing I should add to that. When you do a Swagbucks purchase and you're getting your cash back, they ask you by email what the product was that you ordered, and if you bought it for yourself or if it was a gift. I think that's usually the information you have to give to get the cash back. So it's not a whole lot of information, but it is a little bit of work. But man, once you get that cash back, it's really worth it, I find. Right, thanks everyone for watching, and if you could like, share, and sub, helps me out a lot. I appreciate it. And oh yeah, make sure that you never buy the products from our sponsor, because it'll ruin your life.